guys, what's up? Serum of Love is out. You guys can catch it on YouTube. The remastered version is out. You can finally see my face. Finally, we have a good version that you can watch, and it's pretty decent to watch. I'm sure you guys have seen it by now, and you're thinking, now we have to watch a documentary about it. Well, yeah. I'm sure you guys have figured out by now that it's completely one shot all the way from the credits to the end. That's a no-brainer, of course. There's tons of research that I did, and I wanted to share some of the stuff with you. Of course, I want to break it down for you. So we were turning day into night. So in order to do that, I had to be rotoscoped for like 4,000 frames so I could be treated separately and we could turn everything down and not lose all that contrast. We went on location a whole month before the actual shoot on a full moon, and we just wanted to get some of the results, and they were pretty disappointing because the camera couldn't see anything that a human eye could. So we decided to shoot when the sun was about to rise and the moonlight was there just a tad bit, so we could just borrow the moon from there, borrow some of the reflections. You can actually see some of the jumps, some of the light jumps that we faced. All of that had to be fixed in post, of course. I had this idea that I wanted to experiment with, where the camera finds the subject everywhere it pans. This can be done by combining two different takes, but with the actual footage, there was a lot of parallax perspective that had to be warped. There were times when we actually thought of using the art director as the other me and hoped that nobody would notice. We were wrong. Tracking was a nightmare because we shot under clear skies. There was very little detail that I could track. I used a lot of color mats to invert some of the details to make sense of the composite. Most of the video had to be hand tracked. After all that work, finally the good stuff could start, the compositing, my favorite part. One of my favorite transitions was this one right here in the second verse. One would think that the transition is actually taking place between the subjects, but it's actually happening during my dance steps. So what I love most about the sea is that it's always changing, it's always morphing. So it's like a perfect backdrop for this video. For this particular scene, I'm not even in the shot. I'm actually taken from the previous shot and I'm composited in the second shot so they can actually look the same and none of the perspective is messed with. I did have to bring a lot of detail back in, like the reflection of my feet and of course the CGI water to make it seem like I'm actually there. Another scene that required a lot of work was the comet scene. There actually was a comet that was made in 3D for me to understand how the animation would take place behind me. To get to that point, I had to watch a lot of different online videos. I had to stream a lot of videos. I watched a lot of documentaries. I did a lot of simulations. I even ran a few simulations in this really cool software that I use. It's called Universe Sandbox, and it's great for just understanding collisions, stars, and systems. Serum of Love is actually a continuation of the music video Feels. It's about a couple trying to spark a dead relationship that turns into an infinite loop. Where do you go from there? Serum of Love is basically about that loop. You build on a relationship until you finally think you're ready to spend your lives together. But then chaos happens and your timeline resets and you're back to that starting point again, left with nothing but yourself and your lessons. And we're always in that loop, you know, whether it's to do with a job or conversations, ideas, relationships, you know, just life. But that's just my evaluation. I'm pretty sure you guys can see it differently, and I would love it if you did, because that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be open to interpretation. There's a lot more coming your way, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. But until then, Faraz, Haider signing out.